one of the most fundamental skills on bars is the clear hip. A clear hip is great because you can start small and then build up from there. So it's a more accessible skill that can be worked for a variety of levels. Whether you're working your clear hip to horizontal or you want to go for a clear hip handstand, these 6 drills that you can do right at home will be very helpful for you. So the first one that I would like to show everybody is the long plank hold, which can be done against a wall. What this move does is it helps your body to get more in control when you're in an extended position by working your core all the way from head to toe. You want to find a place against the wall. You're going to put your hands flat and you're going to walk your feet back. Now from here, what we want to do is figure out, is this a challenging angle or is it too easy? If it's too easy, what you can do is walk your hands down a little bit more and your feet out a little bit more until you find that position that you can hold a nice straight or slightly hollowed body, but you want it to still be a challenge for everything on the front of your body. So all the way down from your forearms should feel it. You'll feel it in your lats, in your armpit area. You're going to feel it in the front of your core, and you're going to feel it as well in your thighs. So that's really your anterior or your front of your body. And if those muscles aren't used to being strong in the extended position, you're going to have one of those clear hips with an archy back, or you're going to collapse in your clear hip. So the forces when you drop for your clear hip are really, really high, and you need to have really strong muscles that are ready for that. So I recommend finding a place that you can hold for 60 seconds, and then over time you can walk your hands down the wall a little bit more. Just be sure that you're keeping your pelvis tucked underneath a little bit so that you're not in an archy low back position and that you're nice and flat or slightly hollowed throughout your body. So I don't want you guys to walk down the wall only to have your back turn into a big archy banana back. That isn't going to be effective for your shape. All right, so the next part we can work on. This is good for you to work even if you're not thinking clear hip handstand right now. It's going to be helpful for your calves, and it's going to be helpful for your general shoulder and handstand strength. So it's going to be a lockout handstand. So for that, what you can do is you're going to face a wall, and you're going to walk your feet right up the wall until you're, let's go about 1 foot from the wall with the hands, and then my feet are flexed so that I can stay balanced. Now I'm going to go into a little mini planche, and then I'm going to lock out. So what I'm doing is my feet are coming off the wall, and I'm landing in that handstand shape. Okay, so that one as well, you can make it as easy or as hard as you want. The more planche you get, the more it's going to work your shoulders. However, a really good clear hip handstand, you really don't end up in a big planche because your legs shoot straight up. So to replicate the skill, a small planche is actually more accurate. But you can play around with that. I like to try to do 15 in a row without messing up the ability to come off the wall. So that can be a good challenge for you guys to work. But when you do the lockout, you want to make sure that you're staying in a nice vertical handstand and that you're not cutting that short just to connect to the 15 in a row. So next we're going to work on a timing aspect of the clear hip, and it's one I like to call the clear hip bar shift. Now I do have a floor bar here that I'm going to use. However, you don't need to use a floor bar. You could actually use just your hands on the floor, would work perfectly fine. So my hands are on the floor bar and I'm on my toes. Now this is going to be my horizontal calf shape. What I'm going to do here is just push and then back. So it looks really like nothing, but it's a challenge to keep your hips flat as you rock forward and back. So I'm going to go over something here that I think is very helpful for clear hips. You want to get into a balanced position when you drop into your clear hip. So what that means, everybody says lean forward on your clear hip to then drop back. I agree. However, what I've noticed is that people who find that balance point where their shoulders are directly over the bar before they drop, they're going to have a more powerful drop. So if you go forward and then over the bar and then back, that's what I like to see, because what I want to see from people is they're casting wherever their cast ends up, they're going, say they end up way forward. Before you drop into your clear hip, I want to see you balanced over the bar, and then I want to see you shove the shoulders back even a little bit more. So it's basically a 3-part. So I like for people to do this drill, to do 5 of them. So I'm going to get into the position, and I'm going to go forward, balance, back. Forward, balance, back. Now, you are going to have your hips, oh gosh, you are going to have your hips pop up just a little because your feet are on the ground. If you had someone holding your feet, that would actually be better, but probably that won't be happening. But so just working forward, balance, back, and when you push your shoulders back, you're going to feel your core really turn on. That is exactly what you'll feel in your clear hip. So the more accurate you can be about this drill, when you go to do your cast clear hip, you're going to cast and you're going to know the position. You're going to say, oh, my shoulders are forward, I'm going to balance them, and then I'm going to shove back. And whether you cast a handstand or you cast a horizontal, you're still going to want to find that position where your shoulders are over the bar. Because if your shoulders are over the bar and your feet start falling, that creates a counter energy to it where you're going to drop faster. So then you're able to use gravity to help you, and you're going to drop from the gravity and not from just having to shove your shoulders back, which is fine. Go ahead and shove your shoulders back, but let's have gravity help us a little bit to make it a little bit easier. All right, so that's that one. And then we're going to try a plank ball hold. So this just creates a little bit of instability. And remember, all these floor bar drills, you can use parallettes as well. Before I had my floor bar, I used to do a lot of these with the parallettes that I just bought at Walmart. And so that can be another way. But you can do them on the floor. You don't need a bar. So you can also use dumbbells as handles. So maybe take a 10-pound dumbbell, another 10-pound dumbbell. Those become your bar, and you can use that for your handles as well. But we're going to take the ball. We're going to go ahead and get into a push-up position. Okay, so this is just going to be holding. So I'm holding my nice shape. I'm squeezing my butt and my abs. And this just builds up your endurance and your strength in this position. So this is a really good one to do. So clear hips are, no matter how high you cast and how high you clear hip, they all pass through that position. So if you can't hold this for at least 30 seconds, if not 60, you're going to have a real hard time being consistent. If your clear hip is taking every ounce of your strength, it's not going to be consistent because it's at your edge. So you need to be stronger than the skill requires you to be. So speaking of that, what we're going to do next is work planches with the ball and with the floor bar. And so for that, rather than just hold the shape, we're going to actually work on leaning forward as far as we can and then leaning back as far as we can without letting the back change shape. So just think of it as a horizontal motion, forward and back. And feel free to go as far as you can. And if you're finding that that's not challenging enough, what you could do is put the ball under your shins or under your feet. The further up your body the ball is, the easier it's going to be. So the other thing you could do if you don't have a ball is you could put your feet on, say, a paper plate or a frisbee, and you could use that as your slider, or a furniture slider would work too. I like the ball just because it's a higher elevation, so that your feet are at that horizontal height. The other thing you can always do is if you have a panel mat or you have some furniture, you could put the ball on top of that, and then you're going to be in more of a 45-degree cast, which can just be more advanced for people who cast bigger. So that can be another variation where you can put that ball up on top of something else. Okay, so then from there, we're going to work on the opening of your shoulders in the clear hip. For that one, I like to use a stretchy band. You can wrap it around a piece of furniture. So I've got mine right around actually my squat rack, which I don't really use for squats, but it works for this. So we're holding the resistance band in our hands. And then you're going to have your knees bent. That just allows your back to be neutral, which is good for the working of the shape. We're going to really quickly move the arms overhead and then back down. So straight arms right over your head. And the faster you can do this, the better. Now, I will say, I think that opening your arms in a clear hip, yes, it's important, But I also think that if you do the skill correctly, your arms just open automatically. That being said, it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of extra insurance in your pocket that you have that ability to open the arms really hard. So I know that when I would drop into a clear hip and it would be a little off, if I had really strong arms, that would help me to be able to open my arms and kind of make it happen even if my drop wasn't good. But if you drop at the right time and you allow gravity to help you, you keep the tight core, you do the shifts like I talked to you about with this bar, you really, like honestly, it doesn't feel like a lot for your arms. That being said, your arms need to be strong. They need to be ready for that. So if your arms are your weak link and you do everything else correctly, you probably will collapse onto your head. I mean, it's just, what else are you going to do if your arms don't have that? So it is good to just make sure all the parts of your body are prepared for a clear hip and that you don't leave any stone unturned with that. So I do think the arm opens are really good. General arm conditioning like push-ups, handstand push-ups, planches, presses, straddle presses, all of that is only going to help you. Hollow rockers, all of that stuff is great. What I wanted to show you today, there were 6 more skill-specific moves that you could do to work on your clear hip, even while you might not have an actual bar to use right now. That way you can go back to the gym and you can find that your clear hip is actually improved even though you haven't worked on it with some of these moves. So I hope they help and let me know how you do with them.